Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the Semovente M43 Bassotto. It's a tier 6 Italian tank destroyer. It's located on the east spawn of Sand River under the command of TanqAndTonic. Game on. Well, in the game, this tank destroyer comes with a choice of 4 guns. You can have the 75mm, the 90mm, the 102mm or the 105mm, and the 105 is the one which is the top gun, but it's technically that's the one that the M43 was actually built with. Now, as I said, it's an Italian tank destroyer, but it was the first prototype was built in 1942 by the Italians, and then they went into full production using the 105mm gun and a 25 caliber barrel, which is why that barrel is so long. It's a very long gun indeed, but very accurate with reasonably good characteristics. It did have a fairly slow shell velocity, but don't let that let you down, because the Germans liked this tank destroyer so much that even after the Italians surrendered, they carried on building them. Now, originally, the Italians built 12 units in 1943, and when they surrendered to the Allies, they actually started using these against the Germans, and an entire Italian division, known as the Arty II, was using them. The Germans liked them so much, as I say, they called it the Stug M43, and they built another 91 of these up in the north end of Italy, near Milan, and they would use them very effectively. In fact, they thought that it had very similar characteristics to the Stug and the Sturmgeschütz 3 Ausführung G. In fact, it was more roomy because it had that big 105mm gun and a huge casement. Now, this one has the 102mm gun, and you can see it's just got a nice hit on the enemy. With the 102, TanqAndTonic's got 360 alpha and 175mm pen, standard APCR, heat rounds as premium, and HE rounds as well. Dialing in on 1375 on the north bank, but loses sight of him. Meanwhile, an AMD managed to cheekily get into our cap area. He won't live very long, unfortunately. In fact, he's gone down into the riverbed. There's a huge number of our tanks still near the cap area, and he's gone. Yep, got taken out by a Semovente M41, which is the prior version, the tier 5 version of the Italian tank destroyer. Now, Bassotto, which is the name, actually means Dachshund. It's those small, short dogs, sausage dogs. Yep, that's what a Bassotto is, if you wondered. It is fairly low vehicle. Armour at the front, 75mm, 45 at the sides, 35 at the rear. It was fairly cheap to make for the Italians, so it was actually very cost effective. And of course, as you know, the Italians like building vehicles like sports cars. This wasn't exactly a sports car because it only did 35 kilometers an hour maximum speed, but it was a rigid, a very good tank destroyer, and the Germans liked them. In fact, technically, they didn't call it a tank destroyer, they just called it a self-propelled gun, and it was used for that purpose, to knock down emplacements and take out enemy tanks if it could. Now, that one hit the tracks of the T-43, but he's so high up that wall, he has to get down, because there's 2 Arty on the enemy team, and they both try to have a go at him. One's an M44, the other one's a Fifi, a 105 FH-18B2, and if he stayed up on that slope, he would get hit for certain. The view range is not bad, 360 meters, not huge, but it's acceptable, especially if you use binoculars, which are giving you 25% extra. Okay, the T-43 is still in the village, but our SMV CC-56 has gone down there to try and fish him out. Because the CC-56 is the Tier 7 Italian. Oh, nice hit! 347. Trying to throw a blind shot. Should have pointed out actually, 347 is a low roll. This is 360 alpha. Oh, and our SMV is taking a bit of punishment from the Arty at the moment. That's the M44 because the SMV got stun and DP doesn't give stun. Seems the enemy are coming in from the north. The ones not making it down the center, the bottom, because or the south of the map, because the T-34 is holding them away. But we do have some enemy tanks north of the river. In fact, there's that enemy Bassotto up in the dunes, and the T-34 is trying to take him on, but there's a SMV-CC up there. Oh, good hit! Low roll, but it helps the T-34. And in fact, the enemy Bassotto went down, taken out by our M44. And a good clean kill on the IKV-103. So, first kill for TanqAndTonic. Got another tank turned up on the ridgeline. It's the T-43 that was once in the village, I think. It was another T-43. No, they have more than one. They did have more than one, but he got a hit on the front plate. You can see the shell went straight through. Now that there's none of our tanks up the far end, they got wiped out. So TanqAndTonic's decided he's going to move up here and go onto the heights and see if he can get some shots at the enemy. You can always pull down the other side of the map, the hill, if you need to, or you can make a quick run forwards to get into the dip. Yep, he's going to fall off the back if he needs to. But it gives him the advantage at the moment from the height. You can see more of the enemy. Only one down at the moment. The enemy's still got 2 Arty, 2 tank destroyers, 2 mediums. Whereas we've got 2 Arty, 1 light tank, 1 tank destroyer, which of course is TanqAndTonic, and then 1 medium. I think we've decided that we're going to defend the cap area. We're quite a long way down on hit points, so they've got at least a tank's advantage over us. Oh, well, that's good. We managed to get another kill, the Ram 2. The enemy's just not making a push. I somehow get the feeling then they're too concerned about making a push. In fact, our AMX 1375, our light tank, is actually making a quick run up the riverbed towards the enemy cap area. Now, if there's very few enemy up there, then we might have to make a charge up there ourselves. TanqAndTonic's going to try and take out this Skoda. Oh, fantastic shot! Yep, got him with 1. Just shows the power of these high caliber guns. Of course, the alpha on the 105mm is 440 in a tier 6. The only other tank that has similar hitting power is in fact the box tank, and that's got a 13cm gun. Of course, that is the top gun, the 105, and TanqAndTonic is only sporting the 102mm, which is slightly less. Say that one is only 360, but it does have more penetration, the 102. It has 175 mils of pen, whereas you only get 105 mils a pen with this one. Okay, the SMB, yeah, came into view, got it through the side where he's weak. She's going to get another one if he can take him out. Well, nice try, but it hit the tracks, unfortunately. Didn't pen. Now, the other thing, of course, is that if you've got the HE rounds... Oh, that's a kill shot. The M44 got him. But the enemy Fifi just locked onto us. And he did get a hit. See where it actually went in. You can't actually see the impact point. No, it's not visible. But you can see where the driver, his periscope is. And of course the gunner periscope. Well, the enemy is now down to just the M10 RBFM and their BP. And of course the M10 will do his best to try and spot our team. And of course the Fifi will try to wipe us out. The best thing to do is go north bank of the river. Let the M41 and the M44 go up the south end of the map. Hopefully they won't get spotted by the M10, but we do need to get north of this riverbank now. Now there's one of our teammates, one of the dev ones, is actually saying, watch where TanqAndTonic is looking. He's spotting north of the river because it's very likely the M10 is somewhere up here. And one of them did fire into the bushes. I go close to the north bank, actually. Oh, he's behind us. He got behind us. Managed to sneak up into the cap area. And the M10, M41 and the M44 are doing their best to get into a position where they can't be hit. The M44 is running towards the west side. The M41's gone down into the village. I think they're concerned that the M10 will try and take them out. I don't know how he didn't get spotted. I can only guess that he went through that dip there, popped out the other side, expecting to see the enemy Arty, but our guys had already gone along the south route and he already departed from this area. But he must be just up ahead. Surely, where are you? He's not in sight. They think he must be in this direction. He knows he got spotted because his sixth sense would have gone off. He's made no attempt to actually chase the RT up the other end. They've not spotted him, but then they've got a very short view range. And unless of course he has already gone and we didn't see it. No, he's still near our cap and we just spotted him. Now he needs to back up in order to get a good shot, but he's going to try and use his gun depression. It's 10 degrees. The M10's also got good gun depression. So he's trying to find a spot where it's nice and flat so he can engage without exposing too much. Ooh, the M10. And that's the PP firing. Actually, no, that was the M44 trying to hit him. TanqAndTonic held off firing, but he's going to be hit by enemy Arty now. Oh, he just took a hit. That bank was not working out for us. That's better, and that's a kill. One shot. And the enemy PP still trying to nail us. We did lose the M41. He got found by the PP, and that's where he got killed. But our M44 is still in the game. So now it's up to TanqAndTonic. Strip saying now, spot the left and M44 be ready to shoot. There's only 1 minute left on the clock. The 2-minute hooter went a minute ago, and now we're on the countdown. Now he needs to make it to the cap quick. The PP is not very fast, so he's not going to get away very quickly, and we just have to make a beeline straight to the enemy cap as the crow flies. No time to cap out. Oh, the This is going to be tight. If we don't spot him, it's going to end up as a draw. "20 seconds to go. This might be a nail biter. "10 seconds. And we found him. One shot. Oh, and he gets the kill with 0 seconds on the clock. Well, did you find that one exciting? Because I certainly did. That was a first-class tanker for TanqAndTonic in the Semovente M43 Bassotto, the Dachshund, or Dachshund, I should say. He managed to get a Bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he ended up with 7. He got a duelist for taking down 2 tanks who damaged him, a fighter badge for getting at least 4 kills. He did get 4 exactly, as well as a fire for effect for doing more damage than hit points to his own vehicle. And he also managed to get 20% of the enemy hit pool, and that gave him the high caliber because he was the highest damage in the game. Let's have a look at team score. Well, top of the table with 2,880 hit points. The second highest in the game turned out to be the enemy Fifi that he killed right at the end. He got 1,807 out of that one. And yes, he wouldn't have been able to beat TanqAndTonic's score, even if he killed TanqAndTonic right at the end of the game, because TanqAndTonic only had a hit points total of 600. In fact, he had less than 600 at the end. So I don't think the 105 Lefage 18B2 would have been able to take the high caliber. It still would have belonged to TanqAndTonic. The third highest damage in the game turned out to be the Striff 74, who was actually helpfully giving advice at the end to the Arty. And when it came to kills, it's the M44 who did the best. He got 5 kills out of that game. Mean Machine. So we'll look at his data. 360, Mean Machine 363 of the old MG clan. And then we got TanqAndTonic with 4 kills. 3 kills went to the Striff 74 and the Ram 2 on the enemy team. When it came to base XP, that one went to TanqAndTonic, so he got 2 out of 3 on that one. 1,168 went to TanqAndTonic. He was the only player to get over 1,000 in the game, the second highest being the Striff 74 with 856, and third being the AMX 1375, who got 692. He fired 14 rounds in that game, got 13 direct hits on the enemy and 9 penetrations, 2,880 hit points of damage, of which 1,870 were at more than 300 meters. Those were most of the shots that he was firing into the dunes, which were being quite effective. 4 hits received from the enemy, 2 of them penetrations, 1 non-penetration, and 3 splash. Yes, the M10 RBFM did get a shot at him, and yes, 2 penetrations, ouch. But he also received hits from the enemy M44 and their Fifi, and I think the Fifi actually did get a direct hit. 115 hit points of damage blocked by armor. 1 enemy vehicle spotted, that was the Fifi. 7 enemy vehicles damaged, 4 killed, 173 hit points of damage assistance. He earned 30,364 credits from that game, 22,773 from personal reserves, and 65,000 from personal missions payout, and apparently he got 250 gold during that game as well. I wonder if there was a sheriff on the other side. Just checking to see. It doesn't say that it was on the NA server, and I don't see any sheriff names in there, so I presume it was just a mission completion, that if you did get a particular mission correct, you ended up with 250 gold. So he got 133,319 credits altogether, and after repair and ammunition resupply, he took away a profit of 123,467 credits. 1,168 XP times 2 for the first victory, 1,752 from personal reserve bonus, and took away 5,256 experience points altogether. So let's have a quick look at the armor profile for the Bassotto, or the M43, whichever way you want to say it, because it's the Stug M43, but it is the Italian version, so Semovente would be the correct pronunciation. You can see it's got a very flat-sided front here, which is, and it does reminiscently, it does look like a Stug in many ways. but it is a self-propelled gun of sorts. You can see the lower plate, which is actually, you can see it's, there's an upper plate here and another upper plate which is quite flat. The lower plate is 50 millimeters, but with the nice angling it goes up to 82. The upper one is 50 millimeters, but it's rather flattish, so it only gets 56. But it's this flat one here which is much more difficult to penetrate because it's laid back. It's only 25 millimeters, but it's giving you nearly effective 105 to 107 millimeters of armor. The flat plate is 75 millimeters. That's the thick armor on this vehicle, and because it's only slightly angled back, you can see, well, very slight, and it's actually giving you 76 millimeters overall. The roof of this vehicle is only 15 millimeters, so Arty should be able to pen, and I think the Fifi did pen because he's got much more than that in penetration values. So I think he did get a shot in through the front. You can actually pen the front plate, and you can pen the engine deck as well because it's only 25 millimeters here, 15 millimeters here, and 15 there. Sides of the vehicle are fairly easy to pen, 25 millimeters coming out at 28. Rear of the vehicle, 25 millimeters coming out about the same. So it's reasonably easy to pen it, but the frontal armor here is the part you shouldn't be aiming for unless you've got enough pen to get through, because it's only 75 millimeters, but you'd be surprised some people would still be firing rounds which probably wouldn't have that much penetration. It is tier 6, so it's going to be in tier 4 games, and there are going to be some tier 4 tanks who probably will have difficulty with this thing, but it can be penned from the side. We look at the live version, have a quick look. Yes, you can see it's fairly porous, depending on where you're looking at it. Yes, it depends on if you angle this thing. You've only got 18 degrees either side of the center line. You can see that there. Actually, it's showing 17 degrees on this one. It was, as I thought it was, 18 millimeters, but I think 18 degrees. But that may be for the smaller guns, if I recall. But anyway, it's actually quite a good tank destroyer. The Germans certainly loved it, but then the Germans did love any tank that they can get their hands on, and they called it a Butpanzer, prize panzer. But this one is actually quite good. If we look at the modules, I'm afraid there aren't any because Wargaming haven't shared the module map with us yet. As I said, all we can tell is that the driver is in one. I think the driver is on this side, or at least he's either that or he's on this side. I think he's on the left-hand side of this one, even though it's Italy drives on the right. The fact of the matter is that that looks more like a gunner's sight than this one, where it's just an open hatch as such. So I think that that's the order. We can't tell where the commander is, or the loader for that matter, simply because there's no other hatches that we could tell precisely where they are. If I go to the texture, no, it's not going to show me, so go back to the module map. Yeah, so unfortunately, don't know the positions of the crew members. We do know where the engine is. It's definitely at the back. No mistaking that. And of course, the fuel tank would be at the back as well. We can't tell where the ammo rack is. And that's about it for the M43. It might be useful for us to actually compare the various guns in the Bassotto, because of course this is the 75mm gun, which has only got damage of 110. The second gun up, it's the 90mm, has got 240 alpha. The third gun, which is the 102, that's the one that TanqAndTonic was using, 360 alpha. And the top gun, which is the 105mm, has got 440 alpha. Now, you can see that you are going to get a higher rate of fire with the smaller caliber guns, but you also get a higher penetration value. The penetration on the 105 is only 105mm, so not so good to actually have that particular caliber, because you're not going to get through some of the enemy armor, but you will get a very high alpha. So you could use the 105mm against tier 4 tanks and virtually wipe them out with one shot. The 102mm, which TanqAndTonic was using, actually has got the best combination. It's got good penetration and a fairly decent alpha of 360. And you saw how it was able to deal with that M10 no problem, and it was also able to deal with the other Italian tank destroyers that the enemy team had. So I think the 102mm is definitely the better of the different guns. The 105 is the one that the real Bassotto was actually designed and built with, but the 102mm, yeah, I think that's the effective combination to use. You get a slightly lower rate of fire than the 105, or the well, slightly better rate of fire. Yes, it's a slower reload time for the 102, a faster reload for the 90mm, and an even faster reload. Or is it the other way around? No, it's the other way around. Yes, get this right. The reload time is shortest for the 90mm. Second shortest is the 105mm, and the third, well, that's the long reload for the 102, but you do get the effect. So much better with the 102mm gun. So I hope you enjoyed that replay. If you did, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.